And here we are. Here's YouTube. In case you
Excellent.
can jump in. All right, let's get this started. All right, so a couple of things before we jump into it, Third Eye. We have some popes that we're going to be giving away. And then we're going to, of course, give away a 3-in-1 NFT for you guys. And a pretty standard protocol as before, but typically we get together to talk about Rovi updates every week. Usually it's on Mondays at 10 p.m. or 6 p.m. UTC. And we've recently been changing it only to include some members of the community like Green Schiffer. It's Green Cipher, but you guys know
it was Green Schiffer is how he pronounces it.
Yeah, Green Schiffer and Third Eye as well. And so every now and then we kind of change it up. So thank you guys for being here. This is not so much of a last minute get together, but more of an inclusion to get others to come in and chat with us. So appreciate you guys. So of course we got Iman and Third Eye on the call. Third Eye has a bunch of feedback that he wants to share with us. So I'll leave it up to Third Eye to kind of get the ball rolling on this one.
All right. Do you want me to get the ball rolling, or do you want to start? Do you guys have any updates you want to launch first? Then we can get into the community feedback.
That's a good point.
I feel like updates should come first, and then we could talk about suggestions.
Yeah, this will be real quick. So we have a list of updates. Here we are. One sec. Okay, one sec. I had a list here, then I lost it. All right, so the list starts with if you go check out OpenSea, we've updated the backgrounds. Finally, OpenSea has been updated. We got body parts added for rarity, and so this will make it easier for us to kind of work with a lot of the rarity influencers out there. So we're going to start that process. We have the Rovi name updated to the AI Codex as well, which is interesting. This was a community request. And so now all your Rovis, instead of seeing the standard Rovi name, you're gonna see the Codex there. So it makes it a little bit more unique. So that's gonna be really cool. The customization of the name is also coming. So once it's here, you'll be able to change the name of your Rovi, and then it'll be reflected on OpenSea. So backstory. That's one of the more interesting updates. So I've read a few of the backstories recently, and they've been really, really interesting. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that backstory from the site that Trey Waters set up, and we're going to somehow integrate it to MetaZone so that it's reflected on OpenSea as well. And so you'll be able to go on OpenSea and read everybody's backstory. So that's going to be really cool. Let's see. What else? Okay, so Meta's added to Rovi assets. So if you go to, I can just show you here. If you go to Versus on the MetaZone page and jump into Rovi and go to assets, you can see the different assets that have been added. So the assimilator and the fabricator have been added. So you can kind of check these out and see, what's going on here. Let me get rid of this. So yeah, go ahead and check those out. That's been added, and a couple of things that are going to be coming out pretty soon is the remote hasn't been working because of good old Decentraland. So this is sort of the thing that we've talked about in the past, that once Decentraland makes an update, it breaks some stuff.
I don't mean to laugh, man, but I love it.
Yeah,
we're always battling upstream, but you know what? We still keep plugging.
Yeah,
it's
dude.
like we're not slowing down. No one's slowing down. DCL, what do you got, Unity team? Come on, keep breaking it,
dude. Not only that, they just made another update today, so I don't think it broke anything this time, but last time it broke a bunch.
No,
of stuff.
it did some weird. It did do some weird things with when you're mix matching certain wearables.
Oh, okay.
Azzy, one of our Chain Gang mods, actually brought it to my attention. When you're wearing the skull face with the UFO, it shrinks the UFO and the skull face. It looks really hilarious.
Oh, really?
It's very comical. Obviously, it's not on the designer's end. It's on the Unity update end, so it'll be addressed. But please take advantage, everyone, while you can. Take screenshots, post these on Twitter everywhere, because these are historic moments. It's not going to happen in the near future because of how much people have invested. And once DCL becomes solid, it's not going to be taking 2 steps back, 1 step forward.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and just to kind of talk about the previous update, it broke the remote, and so landowners have had a difficult time positioning their metas, and so I think that's been updated, I believe, and it should be working. So if it doesn't work, let us know, and then we'll see what's going on there. So the next steps for Rovi is the Superchargers and Transporters. So these are going to be deployable assets relatively soon. And so we mentioned in the past, this has big implications for our platform, which means that all the metas are going to be NFTs. And of course, those are going to be deployable as NFTs, which is a huge deal for the platform. So that's going to be a big change for everyone. And then after that is going to be focused on the hologram meta. So that hologram meta, if you don't know, it's going to allow you to see your Rovi and then see other Rovis in Decentraland. So this is going to be kind of the first step to getting your Rovis deployed. And then after that, it's going to be gameplay focused, and the PvE meta should come out pretty soon after the hologram meta. So those are the updates for today. Any questions on that, Third Eye?
No, that's pretty straightforward of what you guys been discussing the past few weeks. I think it's on par with the roadmap and what we've expected to come. We can get into more what the expectations are shifting to. It's like a phase shift. We'll get into that in a second once you close out.
Yeah. So I'll leave it up to you. Let's get some questions going, some feedback, get your thoughts, and then we can jump into the conversation.
Excellent. So, the updates sound great. I'm excited that you're actually going to be having deployable assets soon. That's going to be a big, what would you call it? Just a big boost in spirits in general, seeing something actually in the metaverse. But what everyone's been kind of talking about, discussing, is there's kind of a phase shift that's happening right now with the FOMO. So the FOMO initially is like, yeah, let's go. Let's buy these 3-in-1 NFTs. Let's get this stuff, 2 passive income earning generating metas, and then you have your battling robot that you can play with. And now the shift is kind of going more towards a purchasing pressure instead of a holding pressure. Like the incentive now is to more purchase these newer drops to obtain these metas that are coming out, and the holders of these 3-in-1s are kind of just sitting idle. And it's like, okay, well, I guess in one aspect it does make sense, trying to increase the project revenue, that you break it down and increase the incentive to buy more, because you want to obviously finish the mint. But at the same time, the original investors are starting to feel left out, especially the hardcore investors that have already spent a bunch, and they're going to be watching all these newcomers. Chances are they're hearing this off the grapevine. You have one person coming in, buying one here, buying one there. Maybe someone buys 2, maybe they buy 3. Chances are 50% probably or more, they're not even going to know what they're buying. The NFT is just going to sit there. I think there should be more of an incentive to hold right now. And I mean, you guys can create the FOMO to buy because of these asset drops that you're going to be offering with these Rovis. Yeah, it's not going to be a 3-in-1 anymore. You're going to be getting these metas, and some of them will be passive income generating metas. But they may not be utilized by these people that are buying 1 here or 2 there. Some people may not even like talking to other people, so they're not going to have a landowner. They're not even going to come up and approach someone. It's like, hey, I got this meta. Can I deploy it here? Because any landowner would most likely say yes if it's going to be like a play to earn area,
Sure.
But there's a lot of recluses out there, and no offense to any of you guys. I mean, I'm a recluse myself in a lot of ways, but that's going to really impede the progress and fruition of this game development if you have a certain percentage of holders that just sit on their stuff because they're too afraid just to even branch out, or they don't have the money to purchase land. The real big discussion right now has been rewarding hardcore investors. And one thing that the community has been talking about, and I fully agree with, like 100%. I think the initial hardcore investors should be rewarded for their, not only everyone does, for their initial investment and trust in the project and in your team, because obviously we have confidence in the team to pull this to fruition. But we were talking about possibly every person that owns 3-in-1s should be airdropped key metas, because if they've purchased at least 3 in the early beginning before any of this was even established, they have a heart in the game and they will utilize those metas to the fullest extent. No matter what they have to do, they'll jump through hoops to do it. I've already been talking to them like, yeah, what do we need to do to deploy these? I don't own land. What do we do? They're already reaching out. Obviously the replicator meta being Green Chauffeur made a very good point the other day. I was speaking with him on the side. The replicator is going to be one of the most probably rewarding. I shouldn't say probably. It will be the most rewarding meta there, because people will be paying users and people who own that asset to replicate other Rovies, and they could sell those replicated Rovies. So that's going to be a big flex and flux right there. So I would understand maybe using the star Rovies, so you can drop the replicators to only people who hold the star Rovies right now. So let's play some numbers right now before we get into any more. So there's about 500 holders right now, roughly, right? No way in hell each one of those holders is holding 3. So I would say at max, maybe there's probably 75, 80 people that hold more than 3. Maybe there's 100. I'm not sure. But if you have, say, a set select number of metas, say 1,000 a piece, I don't think it should really be more than that, because these are going to be like the key. You want these to be the gateways. You don't want too many. You would have to drop maybe 100 of each of them to the individual key investors that hold more than 3-in-1,
sure,
or 3-in-1 or more. And if they hold a star Rovi, then drop them a replicator as well. And after all these early investors, you get their FOMO back up, because the FOMO is dying. It's pretty much dead right now. Everyone's just like, dude, what do we do? Why am I holding these? But obviously this new update with the deployment of the superchargers and stuff, that's going to be a little refresher. But people really want to feel encompassed in warm arms. They want to feel like you guys love them as they love this project. So I really feel like the airdrops would be great for the key investors. And then after all the key investors have been accounted for, then you can open up you buy this certain crew Rovi, you get this certain drop. Sure. So then you still reopen the doors for the purchasing pressure FOMO. So you're not going to lose out on the purchasing pressure, because all these new people are still going to want these metas for sure. But all the people that have been diehard, sticking around, coming to these calls every time, not just for the POAPs and giveaways, they're really starting to lose a little bit of, not faith in the project, I want to say, but faith in them, if that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah, I think for the last couple of weeks, we've been focusing on making some changes to increase the distribution of Rovies to additional people, and you're right. The original purchasers are our most important community members, right? Because the earliest of the community have purchased Rovies, they generally have more than one, if not like 3. And so if it makes sense, we're completely okay with airdropping, the most, important components of the gameplay to those early participants. And
in doing that, you really ensure that they're going to be utilized, and when we get them into the metaverse, we can really get this game and the tokenomics of the game, the user base economy cranking. And once it starts cranking, everyone wants it to keep afloat. So no one's going to be highballing this crap like 3x above floor for like a charging station. Everyone's going to work together for this community push.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, I think I totally agree with this sort of strategy, and in rewarding early participants. And I think once we get these metas out there, and airdrop to the earliest community members, we'll have to figure out like what that's going to look like in terms of, is it 3, is it 5? But we can kind of export all that data and then just make a decision based on the data itself.
Yeah. I mean, we just held a meeting the other day. It was an internal chain gang meeting, and we had about a dozen people on the call. It was a blender session, and we were discussing the floor plans of the 36 parcel, the 6x6.
Yep.
It's in the Etheria district, and we're building up a community play-to-earn playground, and there's going to be advantages if you're a chain gang member and hold some certain chain gang gear.
Mm-hmm.
But like we would love, without spending 15, 20 grand,
mm-hmm.
to fill that space up for the community.
Mm-hmm.
We want to bring this game to fruition. And at this point, if you rely on the community to bring it to fruition, it's not going to happen,
mm-hmm.
because it's just the FOMO for purchasing and holding is just kind of like in a standstill. And I mean, unless there's some crazy marketing thing that you guys haven't done yet that you can reach out to. I mean, NBA Top Shot, you talked to them yet? I mean, I don't know, half joking there.
Sure. No, I mean, ultimately the whole idea here is, it goes back to the entire premise of MetaZone, is that we really have to showcase all the stuff that we're doing. We can't just talk about it. We can't say, hey, we have tools that you guys can just spin up a PFP project on MetaZone. If you don't see it happening, people won't do it.
Yeah, dude, you guys' platform is next level amazing. What you offer, I had the idea for a long time, but if I just go and build these assets and put them on OpenSea, it's going to be totally different.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get that attention.
Exactly.
But if you use a solid singular platform like you guys have with all this attention, you get all these creators, which you already have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
you got a lot of influx, a lot of flow, and I'm surprised. Like, what is this Discord at right now? How many members are in your Discord?
It's like 2,500 or so, something like that.
Nice. And I bet you there's been a solid increase the past month or so, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's like it goes back to the premise of MetaZone. We have to really showcase, and a distributed play-to-earn game hasn't existed before, right? There is no such thing as a distributed play-to-earn game. And once you guys see the white paper we've been working on, it should be released relatively soon, like next couple of weeks. You'll understand like the implications of a distributed play-to-earn game, and its ability.
And it also addresses, like you brought up like an incredibly core like concern when it comes to building like a metaverse ecosystem, like the incentivization of deployment of content, like that's a big freaking deal, right? Because we understand the NFT market, how it behaves. A lot of these people speculate on these assets, and they don't necessarily have any intention to do anything with them. We've seen it with the Decentraland land in the beginning, right? People speculated on the land itself. They had no real intention of utilizing it and providing value with it. They were just hoping.
Open dead lots now.
Exactly, and that's
right.
The root issue why MetaZone exists in the first place, right? We're trying to incentivize people to do something with their land by deploying content, generating revenue, and there's some further details we can't discuss yet until that white paper is released, right? So we've thought about these issues. We understand that there's incentive necessities, right, in order to get people to want to become nodes in a network, right? Think of a meta as a node within a network. A distributed network of content is the same thing as a distributed network of transaction validators, right? There's a role that needs to be done, and it needs to be properly incentivized in order for people to purchase the hardware. Think of, a Bitcoin miner and a meta. They're essentially the same thing, right? They're one's digital, one's physical, right? But they both need, I think I would be going too far. I don't want to spill too many beans, but I think a lot of more clarity will come once we get to the point where us as a community, we can digest the white paper and like the vision of the entire ecosystem a little further. But I guess we can't get there yet. But all I want to say is you're spot on, Third Eye. You and the chain gang community, everyone's bringing up the right concerns, because these are core metaverse problems that need to be addressed, right? And that's kind of the purpose of MetaZone. And Rovi's is going to be one of the first actual proof of concepts to that, we think.
Yeah.
That's our goal, right? So, but that's that's a separate topic. We can go into more depth. Maybe like a month from now, we could have another one of these calls, hopefully, and do a deep dive on that white paper, and maybe we could all understand.
I'll make sure to read through it line by line, buddy.
Exactly.
Yeah, not only that.
Yeah, we need to do that.
What we're
we all need to do that.
Yeah, for sure. What we're gonna do is the three of us, including Oscar, is going to sit down and record like maybe a 2.5 hour podcast. And we're going to go like through each section of the white paper, because a lot of times people don't understand like the problems in the metaverse. And so once we're reading through the white paper and we're sort of having like a little, discussion, about the white paper and why that section there exists in terms of like solving a big problem, I think, a lot of projects don't talk about their white paper like we're going to be talking about it. So if you guys don't want to read the white paper, you don't have to. Just listen to the podcast, and you'll have an exact breakdown of how we're thinking about the metaverse and why what we're building with MetaZone is going to be a big deal. And so now going back to what was saying is that if you essentially have a meta, you're going to be properly incentivized to deploy it and run the thing, which ends up helping not only you as a meta owner or the landowner, but us in the fact that we have content deployed, not only in Decentraland, but in the future, the Rovi Matrix and others that we either you spin up from MetaZone or we integrate with. So that's sort of like the big deal here as to why we're kind of excited about this, getting you guys to read the white paper, because once you see it, you'll understand like why we do what we're doing. So and until then, I mean, I guess it's going to be kind of difficult to understand like why these decisions are being made. But most importantly, I think you're right. In terms of getting the future metas out there, we're more than happy to reward the early participants. There's not a problem there.
That's not like everything we just talked about as far as like incentives and stuff. It's not to devoid what you brought up as a proposal, right? To kind of distribute more core game functionalities to like the early contributors, right? That's what you guys all are. You guys are the earliest of contributors to this game ecosystem, this game verse. So yeah, I mean, of course, like we're going to continue to develop this game, and we understand these functions need to exist within the metaverse in order for the economy to thrive, right? So, so we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that happens, right?
If I could just be outright for a second, you know what I would love to see? An affiliation between Rovi and Chain Gang, where we could establish this play-to-earn playground and actually just stage everything. I mean, if you guys want to stage it, we can play numbers and we can do a side contract. You don't have to do your normal breakdown of percentages. I mean,
sure, yeah.
We just want to set something up for the community that is popping.
Yeah, I don't disagree, but you got to think about it from like a higher point of view. If let's say, so Rovi's is more of like an extension of the tools that we've created, because the tools that we created is really for creators out there to use and make up their own PFP. It doesn't have to be bots, but it could be something else with a different gameplay style. And if we favor like a group in the community more so than like the wider community, it might come off looking not good. So in other words, it's like if we're sort of heavily favoring Chain Gang in like supplying.
You got meta. No, I suppose it's not the same nature. I was going to say the meta crew or meta key holders. I mean, yeah, I suppose that's a little different. I won't go in that direction.
Well, they're just getting like a weapon if you have one of these things. But more importantly, it's more like we can't like favor one community member over another, like because it gives a bad look for any new community members. However, what we can do is like host events at the 36 parcel a district that you have. We can do things like that, but I don't know. I feel like it might set a bad precedent if we're like.
No, I hear you.
It's just it becomes a little weird. But as long as the community agrees that one decision over another is completely fine, then we're okay with it. We're more just considering what the overall community might think if we're favoring one community member over another, you know?
Yeah, my thought process was just trying to fill the space up as much as possible because, I mean, ideally, PvE, we're gonna need 40 of them because we're gonna have, like, say, the first floor is gonna be all PvE. So you come in the first floor, you get all these newbies grinding, you know, because they can't go to PvP yet. That's up in the top floor. We were talking about having like a big glass VIP Coliseum area up top where you can like have a glass floor, look down on the 4 PvP floors, you know. But ideally, like we would need 40, a 10 stack on each of the 4 parcels.
Yeah, like I would. So let's see if we can kind of get details into the PvE. You may not need 40. Potentially, you might only need 1. And the reason why is because each arena is scalable. So let's say you have a 36 parcel district, access to this land. You could theoretically expand this one arena to a 6x6 arena. You could theoretically you could do that. And then the incentive would be is like, well, in a single arena, we have only so many enemies, but because your parcel is bigger, you can stomach more enemies there because there's more bandwidth. And so your area, your district becomes more attractive to Rovi players because there's more enemies, there's more potential to earn there versus a 1x1 that's just off in the middle of nowhere. And
so you guys are going to be veering a little bit away from the Ethermon standard right now? Is that what you're saying? Or is the Ethermon going to be going towards that as well, like the 1x1 grass metas?
No, this is specifically different for Rovi's.
Okay.
The hologram meta is closer to the grass meta, but it's going to be a little bit different since it will be connected to a WebSocket server. So it's just a little bit different. And so that's sort of the point of these tools is that they're not cookie cutter, right? Just because you have like a wild grass and a hologram meta that similarly function the same way, they don't have the same configuration. And that's sort of the point for creators is that they don't have to configure it one way or another. It's the tools is like a starting point, and if your game is very specifically for a particular gameplay style, you might have a different configuration for that.
All right,
type.
So I have a question coming from a creator myself.
Sure.
Your platform, do you guys actually offer this code open source to the current games out? Or, I mean, that's IP from the creators themselves, so you can't offer that. But, I mean, do you have, like, base structures of, say, the Corona Zombie? You do?
Yes.
Okay, that's on GitHub or something, and you can just download the source code?
So we have something a little bit better than that. So they're more like templates. So, like, if you wanted to start with a first-person shooter...
Are you kidding me?
We have
Why didn't I talk to you guys earlier about this?
Yeah. So we have templates where you can just literally start with a first-person shooter. It could be... We have that implemented as a Corona Zombie meta, but you can implement it as something else. It could be
you can make it into Halo if you wanted.
Exactly.
To.
Yeah. You could do anything you wanted, right?
Exactly.
And so we have a starting point.
And you don't have to start from scratch.
Exactly, dude. and that's the most important thing about what we're building is that the reason why a whole lot of stuff isn't happening in the metaverse is because developers have to start from scratch.
It takes so long.
Exactly. That's what Oscar did with MetaZone. He literally started with a blank page.
Oscar, let's all give him a round of applause right now. He deserves it, man. He is like, thank you, Oscar. You know,
you're here. Oh, he's
listening. He's listening.
Yeah.
What up, dude?
And so you can't ask developers to start from a blank page because they won't do it. It's better just to make an app for the App Store because there's templates, there's starting points, there's YouTube channels based around it. Like that's better of an ROI than it is to go into the metaverse and like build everything from scratch.
So you know what? It's like off the top of my head, it reminds me of these new programming games they have for kids. And it's like bubble plug and play with code.
Yeah,
it's kind of like what you're offering. You have all this base code. You just plug and play your parameters, your own designs, your skins, and you run with it. Yeah, that's awesome. That's amazing.
And this is actually how the world works, right? You don't build websites from scratch anymore. You have templates, or you go to Squarespace and drag and drop. Like you have all this stuff, and that's why there's millions of websites. And we feel like there's going to be millions of metaverses. Of course, even though there's millions of websites, not every website is getting millions of hits every single day, right? The same thing in the metaverse. There's going to be metaverses that pop off, and there's going to be metaverses that exist, but nobody goes to them. But But that's not the point. The point is that there are going to be millions of metaverses, and the content should be traversable between the different metaverses. Otherwise, it's like, we own this digital asset, but we own it just in Decentraland or just in the Rovi matrix. That doesn't make any sense.
At the same time, though, you got to think of all the implications with being decentralized. I don't think there's going to be very many other metaverses quite like Decentraland.
Oh, for sure.
It's one of a kind.
100%. I do think Decentraland is going to stay at the top, if not forever, in the sense of like the right type of metaverse on the blockchain. I think there's nothing better than Decentraland, as far as open development goes. And
you guys see the FOMO peak for Sandbox? Oh my gosh, people are going crazy, and then it tanked.
Yeah,
I was holding out. I have a couple pieces of land. I was going to flip a couple things, but I waited a little too long.
Sandbox is actually pretty great. I mean, they're modeling off of Roblox, which is a $40 billion company, and but it's not open to developers. It's just a completely different type of metaverse than what Decentraland is.
The terms of use is so restrictive.
Yeah.
Go ahead, put someone that's topless up on your land, see what happens.
Yeah, yeah, that's what's going to happen. I mean, they really run that entire platform, and they can decide what's in there and what's not in there. So that's why we like Decentraland, because it is the foundation of like the craziness that we expect of the metaverse to be. Right?
Hell yeah!
Eventually, you will find pornography in Decentraland.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, if you watch,
you already have.
Yeah,
it's out there. It's somewhere.
Bro, I'm already talking to adult film star producers. We're going to be setting up an adult film convention. Like, I'm talking to the actresses, actors, really? Man. Oh yeah, man. I'm already like, I don't want to say neck deep. But I think this pun is I think it's needed at this point. It was like a given.
Yeah,
and
take it while it's there.
Another thing is like brands, they're going to have to exist in the metaverse. Just like if you don't exist in social media, your company, your business doesn't really exist. In the future, it's going to be exactly the same way in the metaverse. So these that industry, the adult industry, they need to be making metas too, because imagine having an adult industry meta that is deployable in like 1,000 different metaverses. It's a no-brainer for these companies to jump in and start building these things.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyway, we're getting kind of sidetracked. So back to Rovi's and not the big metaverse concepts that we keep talking about.
I feel like that should be broken down every once in a while, though, because people kind of forget and they start to go down their little one-way alley and get those blinders on, and they forget about the outside world and really what makes everything go around.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right. So we're 42 minutes in. Let's distribute the Pope. Man, last call with Green Shipper, we had a conversation about the Pope, and like I feel like this Pope thing is starting to dominate conversations a little too much, but people seem to like it. So I guess let's make that distribution right now. So what you have to do is the Pope. What you have to do is message the @MetaZone bot. Okay, message the @MetaZone bot the password. And the password is Rovi Matrix.
Oh gosh, did you guys see the Matrix drop? The WB
I
Matrix
did.
avatars?
I did.
I got 5 of them.
Oh wow.
So one of our mods, I offered up. I was like, I'll buy someone 2, and I'll keep the other 3 if you give me your position in line.
Oh sweet.
And Nyao offered it up, and I got her 2. I got 1 female, and I gave her the female and another guy. But holy moly, did they look like crap.
Did they really?
All I'm thinking about is those pills, man. It's like, what's going to happen?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember back in the day, they tried to make a Matrix game, and it looked like crap. And obviously,
yes, I remember that too, man.
Yeah, it didn't take off.
It was horrible. It made me so sad because I actually tried playing it.
Yeah, I remember it. All right, let us know if the Pope is working. Just go through the bot and kind of do what it asks you to do.
Are we gonna have to re-verify every time with the wallet?
I think we're trying to fix that. I mean, truthfully, we work on this bot like maybe 1 hour a week at best. And we only work on it like right when we're like about to do these things, you know.
I know how it works. I want to let people know. I know a lot of people have trouble verifying. You have to click connect a couple times. It actually goes through like 2 signages on your wallet in order to connect to the site and get verified.
Yep.
Okay. I see a lot of people. I can't connect. It looks connected, but I'm not connected.
Okay, cool. Okay, so Trey Waters in, Juxon got in.
I'm in now.
Only available to holders. I don't think so. All you need, DCL Tour Guide, is some assets in your account. So go to MetaZone, log in, and then in the drop-down menu, there's My Assets. Click on that, and you'll see if you have assets. Okay.
Where can you get an asset, dude?
You can get an asset playing Corona Zombies or playing Ethermon, and they're free. And so you just have to interact with that meta, and you'll get an asset, and then you can participate in these popes.
That's right. There you go.
All right. Any other questions, Third Eye? I'm sure there's a ton more.
Yeah, there's a lot. Right now, I'm kind of blanking it. Just we've been talking about so much.
Yeah.
The key from tonight's meeting is just need to reestablish faith in the key investors and really need to think about game functionality and fruition. Like I keep saying fruition. I like that word. Of people actually using their assets. So. Like I love the idea of you buy one Rovi and you get a meta drop to you because you're not getting the 3-in-1 anymore. But again, who knows what those people are going to be doing? I feel like there should be some kind of barrier of entry. Maybe even you can double it up. Say if you own 6 3-in-1s, you get 2 of each meta. Even if you do that, you should still be under 1,500 metas easy, including like drops with the next purchases for the other crews.
Yes. Yeah. So our task is to provide a breakdown of the addresses that hold Rovies, and then we'll have to make a decision as to who should qualify for like these early participants who get these metas, and then who doesn't, and like what makes sense. First, we need to get more information on that, and then we can get on another call and kind of discuss. But like, yeah, ultimately, we're focused on the gameplay. Like, we know, like, for example, Corona Zombies is like one update away from having a closed loop ecosystem. And so if you guys don't know what closed loop ecosystem is, it's some ability to play a game, earn an asset, trade that asset for something else, which enhances the gameplay, and then you kind of redo that, and it goes on to infinity. So, for example, in Corona Zombies, when you are killing the spiders, you're earning Corona Zombie tokens. And these are off-chain assets, by the way, for now. But you're earning these tokens, and then you can trade those tokens for a Corona Zombies wearable. And then you can kind of sell that on the open market.
Excellent. Yeah, Golfcraft is doing something like that now. People are going crazy over it. They're spending literally 20 hours a day out of a 24-hour day playing miniature golf, trying to get a free wearable.
For sure. It's
like, I salute them, but I would never do that.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I'll just go buy it.
Exactly. And there's
a lot of time wasted. I shouldn't say wasted. A lot of time invested.
Sure. Yeah. And there's a market for all kinds, right? If you got the time, you're going to play Golfcraft or Corona Zombies or Ethermon or whatever.
Exactly. These college students that they just finished their freaking testing and stuff, and, they got a week off. Hell yeah, man. It's like, why not?
Yeah.
I wish I could still do that.
And for people like you, Third Eye, you may not have the time, but you're still interested in the game, and you'll just buy the assets from those people who spent the time, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's the level that games like Golfcraft still need to develop, right? To service that sector, the market demographic, people such as yourselves who can purchase these assets from people who are grinding to provide this value to the ecosystem, right? And then use that yourself to, I don't know, compete in some kind of like actual hardcore competitive PvP type environment, right? Where there's much greater reward for that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it is. There's different tiers within an economy, right? Different roles, people. I mean, I'm not sure what country you're from, Third Eye.
What?
If you don't mind me asking.
Yeah.
What?
America.
Do I have some?
Okay, you have to get that detailed. Like,
I'm in Northeast. I don't care. I'm in New Hampshire. I represent 603. You know, it's freaking like 20 something degrees out right now.
Oh damn! Yeah, it's like 80 over here, dude.
Our like life perspective is different from like a large segment of humanity, right? Like, we are definitely privileged humans. Like,
of course. Yes.
Yeah. So like us, like yeah, it's hard for us to grasp. Like, who the hell would spend 18 hours a day playing miniature golf? You know, things like this. But
no. That's the thing, though. I do understand that. I was just having a momentary breakdown. I'm trying to picture it myself. I'm just like, oh my gosh! I tried playing for a little bit, dude. I sucked. Yeah. So I couldn't. I couldn't do it.
But that's what's so fascinating, though. Like something so mundane as like swinging a digital golf club. Like, there's a lot of people out there on the planet willing to do that as long as there's some sort of value extraction, like, for themselves, right? Because I mean, that's going to improve their life.
There's some exciting Ethermon talks going on right now too that are going to be helping those grinders. So
of course.
There's everything exciting talks right now.
Green Schiffer says, Oscar, please, Rovies need to be avatars. That's that's interesting. There might be some way to do that in an interesting way. I don't know if Oscar wants to talk about it.
I know an easy way to do it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's going to be a little bit of a bitch to implement, but with Decentraland land, you can control the shape and form of people's avatars as they come onto the land.
Yep.
So if you can somehow link that to their wallet address, I mean, it might be randomized at that point, and it just picks a random Rovi.
Sure.
I mean, I don't think you want to get any more in depth than that because it's going to get crazy.
Yeah.
But once you walk onto the parcel, it'll just turn into one of your Rovies that you own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's one way. It's kind of like, I don't know if you were there, Third Eye, during the soccer tournament back in the day, like over a year ago, like a year and a half ago.
I was not.
Yeah. As soon as you walked if you played the soccer game, you turn into like this astronaut, and you control like this astronaut to play soccer. And it was pretty cool. And so that gave everybody like this indications, like we can actually change our avatars, but it's hyper specific to that parcel, which could work. I mean, could be kind of a cool flex, but it won't extend outside of that parcel, which I think most people, that's what they want.
Yeah, and then it starts breaking down into like a smart asset off parcel category, which they're not around yet. I remember a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I came in and I started immediately. That's the first thing I asked for. Is all right. How do we implement smart items off parcel? It's like how do we do this?
Yeah,
it turned me off immediately. So I just kind of veered away, gave it like a few months, came back.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. No, I think avatars is pretty simple to do. I have another idea, but I think I'll wait for Oscar to really solidify that thought. But there's other use cases for the avatar as well. As we're chatting here, I'm going to set up this giveaway for the 3-in-1 NFT, and if you guys want to,
Corv had a great idea too with the giveaways. Once you guys start having assets available to be deployed in the metaverse, giveaways would only be available to those that have assets deployed.
Oh, hell yeah.
That is amazing. That way, it's going to someone who will utilize it.
Yeah, it goes back to our white paper. If you read that, there's a very
I gotta read through that. I'm sorry. I have to apologize to everyone for not reading that yet.
Well, it's the white paper hasn't been released yet, but once we
thank you.
Yeah, once we do,
save face.
You'll see that there's an important role that people will contribute to. And you'll see. I mean, we can't talk about it yet, but you'll see.
Yeah, it's sometimes it's an overwhelming, like, complex ecosystem, like the metaverse can become. It's hard to like talk about sometimes. Because we're used to like analyzing projects where an ecosystem's focus is like so narrow, but it's necessary, right? Like indexing data, transcribing data, things like this. Like, these are essential roles for a protocol. But the metaverse, like facilitating a creator economy, like there's so many different activities that have to happen and make sure all that is like healthy and like balanced and sustainable and all that shit. So that's been our focus, like trying to figure out what's the best way to do this, right? And that, I mean, that's been like a almost 3 year grind, you know? So yeah, we put a lot into that, dude.
Yeah.
We put a lot into this white paper. Like it's been our whole metaverse experience summed up.
Yeah, we've been working on it for years, that white paper. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait
without knowing.
Yeah, without knowing, yeah, for sure.
Every time you read a white paper, whether you know it or not, you are being enlightened.
Oh,
that's how it should be.
So many new things. It's
100%.
like, oh my gosh.
100%. Go to the live chat, everybody listening, and interact with the giveaway bot. The 3-in-1 giveaway is happening. Just interact with that bot, and you'll have a chance to win. If you're on YouTube, jump into our Discord and find that bot and just react with it, a little emoji, and you're in.
So I'll say right now, I already bought a Star Rovi second market. If I win this, I will do a giveaway later in the Chain Gang Discord.
Hell yeah, dude. Hold on. I got a message on YouTube. It says, can we still get replicators, and how much are they going for? Seem like cool project, but still getting up to speed. Yeah, so this guy's I Wanted Orange. You can't get the replicators just yet. They will be available soon, and I guess the discussion here was distributing some of these important metas to the early participants, which will happen. I think purchasing Rovi's at a specific time will get you one of these replicators as well. So we're going to have a written up Medium article, right, iMan? That's going to describe all this like in detail.
Yeah, because right now it's a lot of, I mean, a lot of it was community driven, like the formulation of like the distribution of the content, but it's not set in stone yet. It's like right now, like from a development perspective, it's about making sure the content and like the game ecosystem is functioning properly, and then like solidifying how that content needs to be distributed. That's the next step, I think. So like that's where we are right now.
I would agree.
Okay, so we got a few more minutes until this giveaway is up, and yeah, someone's going to be a lucky winner of a 3-in-1 NFT. You can unbox it on MetaZone, and you see what you got. So far, the best Rovi I've seen was like at 57%, something like that. Super lucky.
Yeah, I think I have a 43.
59%. Oh, you have a 43. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I haven't opened up the Star Rovi yet, though. I'm going to keep it closed.
Oh, damn.
So I don't know what that is.
Green Shifter says it's 59% from Hercules, and it's a Star Rovi. Dude. Lord Ginger.
Hercules.
Yeah. Lord Ginger has a 58%. So one of the earliest metas we talked about was the PvE game. We're still thinking about making the glitches like ownable, and then kind of you stake them into a particular PvE arena. So we're still kind of thinking about like what that
would be amazing.
Yeah,
that would solve the issue of having to do 10 stacks.
Exactly. Yeah. So what you do is, because Chain Gang is like a huge growing community, you can have these people that own glitches kind of stake it into that 36 parcel arena there. And all of a sudden, like, it would be the most efficient way to grind for these assets. So, so it's just more community engagement stuff, and I think that's important when designing a metaverse type game.
It's all about the community, because it's the community that supports it and drives it and continues to bring it to success. Yeah. Without the community, it's like all these corporate. I don't want to bring up corporate, but they have this great slogan: 100%. The customer's always right.
100%.
And with the metaverse, they drive it. We drive it. Yeah. It's all us. It's all of us.
Yeah, but we've been around long enough to witnessed more of like a corporate attempt at creating a game universe within the metaverse, and they've all failed.
110%. Yep.
None of them have figured out, like, it's not about like you as a game creator, like all of a sudden trying to, let's purchase a bunch of land and let's host this game. No, it's not about you, dude. It's about the community. Like that hasn't been figured out and like adopted yet. Right.
I want to give a quick shout out to all Chain Gang members, because the amount of time that they devote and invest into their fellow members, not even themselves all the time. It's amazing. It really is, man. It almost brings a tear to my eye. If I wasn't such a freaking dink, it probably would, I'm just too cold and calculated. But no, seriously, you guys, you're amazing. Everyone on this call is amazing. If you're within Chain Gang or not, I mean, you're part of the community, and it's what keeps us all going.
This is important to note. There is these growing communities like Chain Gang and these other influencers out there. Like, you're going to see communities spin up their own token, and you're going to see communities spin up their own metaverse and then build their own content of whatever they think is important for that metaverse. And we want to be able to facilitate those tools to make that easily done. And so that's really one of our focuses too, is to create these verses. Like, we have 4 verses, right? The latest one is MetaKey. But we want this to be completely populated with like thousands of different verses, which is essentially a community deciding to say, hey, let's just create a metaverse and let's just focus on a particular gameplay type or something else. It could be just completely social only. And you can have like host events there in that metaverse. Could be in Unreal Engine 5, could be in Unity, could be on your phone. Like, it's all up to the design of the community to create their own world and their own vision. And so that's the point of the verse. It's not obvious that that's the point, but we have to showcase what we have in our vision, because we can't just talk about it. We have to implement it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've noticed that's the most difficult part. It's like, yeah, you can have all these visions and all these ideas, but until you start, the hardest part's starting. Yeah. So I'm an analog engineer in real time, real life.
Nice.
And when I'm looking at a schematic and trying to come up with a way to fit everything in this die area and make sure that the thermo resistance and all these, like, the analog system has no offsets or all, not like, there's so many things to think of, and you can sit there for months and just try to think of it all in your head, but until you start actually putting it down, nothing's going to happen.
Yeah. And so not to cut the talk here, but Dirty Bird wins.
Dirty Bird.
Look at that.
Congrats, brother.
Dude, congrats.
That's, dude. Hell yeah.
All right. So, Dirty Bird, send me your ETH address, and we'll get that Rovi to you so you can unbox, and let us know what you get. Hopefully you get something high. If you get something low, do not despair. There's ways to kind of fix that. So yeah, that's good, man. All right. Third Eye. So these questions have been good. I'm pretty sure there's like at least 100 more questions. So are you okay with doing this same time next week?
Of course.
All right. So yeah, just come up with like the hard questions. Because I'm assuming that they're
be honest with me. Do you want me to do that?
Well, yeah. I mean, why not?
Okay.
We can talk about it. All right.
Let's send it. It's going to be an in-depth talk then.
Okay. Yeah. So let's do this again, same time. Go ahead, Armin.
It needs to get that nitty-gritty.
I'm part of a lot of projects right now, and I see a lot of everyone's doing things kind of the same but different at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of I kind of see like this what do they call that, bobsled, like a bobsled shoot, It's like everyone's on the outside playing. It's almost like a gutter in a bowling lane. You don't want to be there when you're playing bowling, but you want to be there when you're designing a play to earn project, just kind of right down that straight lane, the bobsled shoot gutter per se. I don't know, I suppose my analogies are pretty shit right now. I'm sorry.
I'm trying to imagine it, but like, okay, I guess we're there. I don't know. So yeah, let's do this again next week, same time. And you know what? Well, next week we'll do that. We have more NFTs to give away. I'll talk about that next week. So, yeah, thank you guys for being here. Third Eye, as always, you're great. Chain Gang is great. Let's get back together next week and talk about additional questions that you may have. And yeah, let's.
So Dirty Bird wants to do a live unboxing, dude.
Oh, really?
Wait.
Well, I gotta send it to him.
Yeah, let him hop in and share his screen. Let's do it.
I gotta send it to him first, but it might take a minute. Do you guys want to do that?
I'm down. Oh wait, what time is it? Oh, I have to hop into Twitter Spaces. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, that's true.
It's 6:03. I'm already late.
Yeah. Okay. Third Eye, thank you.
Next time. Save it for next week, dude.
All right, guys. Hey, thanks everyone. I appreciate you all. Cypher, Will.
Yes.
Corp. You guys make this happen. So.
All right.
You guys and the community.
Yes.
You know, pat
100%.
everyone's backs.
100%.
Cheers.
Yeah,
All right, guys.
all right, guys.
Bye bye.
See you later, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.